My sister gave me her new phone number the other day, but I'm pretty lazy, so I just keep using the old number instead. The woman who has that number now is my new sister, and we talk every day. Luckily, they're both named Stephanie, so I didn't even have to change her contact information in my phone. Sometimes I think that my old sister is still trying to reach me, but I don't answer calls from numbers I don't recognize. But anyway, while I was on the phone with Stephanie, she said that she just started doing yoga and she feels better than ever. She said that I should try doing it too. And I never used to take advice from my old sister, but this time I thought, new sister, new me. But when I tried yoga, I pulled a muscle in my back. It was the worst pain I've ever felt in my entire life. So I tried to call my doctor, but the number must have changed because some guy answered the phone instead. I said, can you recommend something for excruciating back pain? And he said, I think you have the wrong number. And I said, listen, you're my new doctor now and I need your help. What can I do to make my back stop hurting? And he said, I don't know. Have you tried doing yoga? I was so desperate for relief, so I tried it again. And this time, the pain went away instantly. It was incredible. So I called my new sister. I said, guess what? I did yoga. And she said, that's great. How do you feel? So I thought about it. And I said, actually, I feel about the same as before. What a waste of time.
Hypothetically, and what is the meaning of life? Tell me yes or no. That was a trick question, or was it? I don't know. I don't have all the answers now. How could I when I don't even have all the questions? Ironically, I complain that I do not get sarcasm. Isn't that just great? I wanna be a positive person, but that seems so unlikely. Sometimes I think my mind is playing tricks on me, therefore I'm always right. People say that happiness is a choice, but I can never make up my mind. And I know I'm getting older, 'cause now I'm old enough to remember being younger. And now I reminisce about nostalgia, 'cause it used to be better. What if the good old days used to have a plant. It was a rescue. When I got it, it was all sunburned. But now it's dead. It actually took its own life. I had nothing to do with it. I wasn't even home. I came back from a 3-week vacation and I found it lying there lifeless. I might have been able to save it, but I spent a lot of time looking up how to perform CPR on a plant. Apparently, you're just supposed to breathe on them. I did suspect foul play at first. Then I found the suicide note. It said, "You never take me anywhere nice anymore. I wanted to be a dancer." Then I thought about the irony of a plant suicide note being written on paper. Then I wondered how a plant could even write anything without hands. So I turned the note over, and on the back it said, "Dictated but not read." So I buried my dead plant in a pet cemetery. A few weeks later, it rose from the grave. I was so terrified, I immediately killed it before it had a chance to kill me first. So now I have a fake plant. But you can't even tell, it looks very realistic. All the leaves are wilted and brown. My friend came over the other day. He said, "Your plant looks dead." I said, "Thanks."
All right, there we go. Twitch can hear us. I think I'm on the screen. Oh, wait, we got to do one more thing. One more thing. Here we go. Oh, there it is. What is up, everybody? Oh, also turn off my music because that is not copyright free. Oh, no. Excuse me. Welcome, everybody. Happy Friday. I'm your tech tonight. I'm Annie Dies a Lot. That's right. I'm kind of all over the place tonight, but we're here to have a comedy show, so let's do it. Before we get the official comedy show going, though, I'm going to go over a few things that everyone can do at home to help this show go nice and smoothly. The very first thing, if you are here in the Zoom room, now is an absolutely great time to just go ahead, turn on those mics and cameras. We don't judge here. And also, it helps if we can see your faces, if we can hear your laughter, it definitely helps. I know it's the internet. Some people don't want to show faces or let their voices be heard. That's okay. However, if you look at the bottom of your screen, you're going to notice a reactions button. Go ahead and use that button. We can still gauge how you're doing. See, Nikki's got it down. Nikki's got the thumbs up. Nikki knows. So yeah, thank you guys so much. Twitch, thank you guys. Great to see you guys. If you guys want to come be in the Zoom room, everyone is welcome. YouTube, you're welcome to come hang out with us too. It's pretty easy. Go to kocomedy.com. Sign up for the email. It's that easy. You will instantly receive a link not only to this room, but to all of our shows. You guys, we do this 7 days a week. So come hang out with us. It's a lot of fun. Some of our shows are even Zoom exclusives. That's right. After this show, it's going going down, you guys. It's happening. The after party is going to happen. It's not going to happen on Twitch. It's not going to happen on YouTube. It's only going to happen here in the Zoom room. Sarah Green will be here tonight. Lorna Batters can't make it, but we're still going to have fun. We're going to play some games. We're going to hang out. It's going to be a good time. You guys, we also have some other great stuff happening this week. Check it out. We got 2 specials coming up. Sunday, Alicia Rain and Friends is doing a Zoom comedy showcase. It's going to be amazing. One of those comedians are here tonight. You get to hang out with Paul Kilmer. Also, Desiree Walsh will be there. Kelly Zemnikis, Keely Wolf, and A.A. Ron. And on Monday, Sammy Obeid is back with his new hour. This week, it's going to be Sammy Cuts the Hour's Budget. I'm interested to see what happens. And as course on Sunday, KO Comedy is going down with Casey McNeil. So you guys, come on through. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Let's see, you guys, we have, and if you're here in Twitch and you want to go see what's happening on, if you're here on Twitch, if you're here in the Zoom room and you want to see what's happening on Twitch, you're welcome to. It's at twitch.tv/Comedy Hub. That's right. Home of the world's worst AI. That's right. Laughing Larry is in the chat tonight. He's there. He's sucking about as hard as he usually does. And what's up, Seb? Great to have you here. Thank you so much for hanging out. Love those Sarah Green emotes. Sarah will be here for the after party in the Zoom room following our Twitch show. Let's see, you guys. We have a great show for you tonight, and you are so welcome. It's a free stand-up comedy show. That being said, we still ask that you support everyone that you see here tonight. The best way you can do it, and the freest, come on, it's free, it's easy. You guys, give them all a follow during everybody's sets. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to flash their Instagram handles, both on my screen and down in the chat. Give them a follow. See if they've got new material coming out. See if they'll be performing in a place near you. Do it. Help boost their algorithm. Come on. Just do it. Just do it. That being said, we won't say no to donations. We absolutely take those. It's pretty easy. We take Venmo at KO-Comedy. We also take PayPal, KOComedyShows@gmail.com. And if you're watching over on Twitch, we take those bits as well. And you guys, we don't just take your money. We're going to give you, whoops, wrong button. We're going to go ahead. We're going to give you a shout out. That's right. It's the last Friday of the month, so it's the last time to see your name on this month's board. But this is what we do. That's right. I find something that makes me think of you, of your name, and I slap it on. I slap it onto a picture. Your name's gonna go on that picture. It goes on this board. So yeah, that's what we will do for you. And let's see. Oh, only one more thing. I did it again. You know what, you guys? I'm so over this today. I'm so on top of this. I've got it down. One more thing everyone has to do. That's enjoy the show. It's gonna be awesome. Okay, enough of me. Are you guys ready to get the show going? Are we good to start?
Woo!
Michael's ready. Paul's looking ready. I see a lot of people are ready to watch. It's okay if you keep your mics and cameras off, but also we absolutely encourage you to turn them on. You guys, give it up for your amazing host tonight. You guys, it's Michael Madrid.
Oh my gosh, guys, one more time for Annie, everybody. Holding it down, working hard here. You got the woos going on. Again, like Annie was saying, if you feel comfortable, guys, please turn on your microphones and your cameras. Comedians feed off your energy, right? So the more energy you give to the comedians, the more energy they can give back to you. That's including even the comedians who are here. I believe we got a fantastic lineup. We got the one and only Paul Kilmer here. Paul, that's quite a background you got going on. What's going on there? What is that?
That's my logo.
Nice. Very quality, very quality. Very quality. Go ahead.
I have an entire line of Paul-based stores you can go to. I'm in the process of redoing my room where I normally... I'm out in the living room tonight, so...
So you didn't want to show, you didn't want us to see what your, so to be completely honest with you guys here, I just cleaned my room today. So if I unblur this, if I take down the KO comedy, you will see my space. Look, I don't even see how I can do that right here. Can I? remove my background. How do I don't even know how to. Well, anyway, I'll do it later on so you guys can see. But I actually have absolutely done that. So we got Paul here, obviously, in his living room, and we got the one and only Jake Nall. They're here. Jake, you here? Where? Oh, there you are.
I'm here.
What's going on with you, Jake?
Not much, just hanging out, having a good time. Excited for the show.
Where are you based right now?
I'm in Los Angeles.
Oh, you're in Los Angeles. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I did not even realize that. We literally could have just done this at my house then. You could have just come over. And and done this. Are you anywhere
That's
near
weird.
West Hollywood by any chance?
That's weird.
I'm not. No. Yeah. Did you? Just invite me over to your house.
That is actually weird. Actually, you're right, Paul. I just meant as saving virtual space. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
I don't
important.
know.
It's a rare commodity is virtual space.
Yes, exactly. We want to make sure that we're not taking up resources that could be going elsewhere to another square box. In this
have
virtual
snacks.
Do I have snacks? Well, Paul, it's funny that you said that because I've been keeping a food journal all week, which should probably explain whether I have snacks or not. No, I don't. I have been trying to. I've been trying to eat very, very healthy this week, which is apparently not what you're supposed to do when you put a food journal together. They're like, no, be honest. Tell us what you really eat. I'm like, I don't want you to know that. Like, I'm going to put stuff here. I'm like, Pure Elizabeth organic quinoa cereal. They're like, that's not a thing. You made that one up. That's not a real thing. Guys, if you want to make sure that all the comedians can afford to buy Purely Elizabeth organic quinoa cereal, promo code KO Comedy. No, that'd be great if it was an ad read, but it's not. You can donate. You can donate again, like Annie was saying. You got the Venmo, you got the PayPal, all sorts of fun ways that you can do that. And make sure if you are watching this, if you're having a good time on the Twitch, seeing this, and you're like, what else do they have going on? They got podcasts going on Comedy Hub and KO Comedy. They got other online shows going on. So check out everything they got, KOcomedy.com. Now, Paul, I'm guessing that your logo that you put together, that's all for the Paul-related merchandise?
Yeah, there will be merch. I will be selling it outside of a Cumberland Farms, which is a gas station that is local to my apartment. I will not be selling drugs, but you can get Paul-related merch.
I will be completely honest, Jake. If you came by a gas station and you saw a comedian selling their merchandise, what would you think in that moment?
I think that I would be like, that is the most industrious comedian I've ever seen. They're actually doing work outside of comedy, which is very rare.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to lie, Paul. Yeah,
that backfired on you. Yeah.
We're ganging up on you.
Yeah, look, you thought I was laying it out there for a roast, and instead it became a compliment, Paul. Do you see how that works out? People respect your work out there. Your industrious
No comedian
work out there.
In the last 5 years has ever complimented my work, so I don't believe you.
Now, at Cumberland Farms, by the way, here's the craziest thing. So I remember the first time I visited my dad in Massachusetts when he moved back out there, and he's like, oh, we could stop by a Cumberland Farms, and I thought it was like Bristol Farms, like I thought it was like a fancy high-end spot, and I was like, I was so excited. I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely down to go down to Cumberland Farms. I'm like, do you think they have a quality cake in the bakery?
No, it's month-old wrapped chocolate cake and salmonella hot dogs. It's the worst kind of 65-cent coffee. You're not supposed to feel bad when you get gas there. You're supposed to feel real bad about yourself.
Man, you're making the Wawas in the Pennsylvania area seem like the most high-end markets based on the way you're describing Cumberland Farms. I'm assuming Cumberland Farms is a sponsor of your podcast.
No, number one, I'm not good enough to have a podcast, and you could probably get a venereal disease by putting gas in your car at Cumberland Farms, so whatever you just said is probably way better.
I see. Now, I will say this: if you guys want to make sure that when you are hearing all of this information that Paul is sharing, and you go, I want to know more about Paul Kilmer. I want to know the ins and outs of what he does. Make sure you're following him on social media. Make sure that you're also following Jake Null on social media. Make sure you're following myself and, of course, KO Comedy, guys. We're going to be throwing up these social media handles while the show is taking place. Jake, what has been going on with you this week? Anything specific?
Well, the fires were here in LA, and my partner is a shepherd in the biblical sense. They're a real actual shepherd with sheep, and so I was helping with evacuated animals a little bit this week.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Your partner is an actual like a shepherd that like herds the animal and makes sure that they corrals them into the right spaces with like a Sheltie dog or something like that.
Exactly. They border collies and then some sort of Turkish breed for the guard dogs, and they do prescribed grazing for fire prevention. And so their outfit is up towards Ojai, and their boss was helping evacuate animals from like the Palisades and from Altadena, and all those animals were in holding in other places.
Okay. What would have been amazing is if your partner had been like, hey, by the way, we're running out of space. How's our apartment look? What's our apartment situation?
Honestly, at one point I was like, is this sheep going to go in my Prius? I don't know.
That would be, honestly, I would love to see that. I would love to see a sheep. Does the sheep have to wear a seatbelt or a harness of anything when they're in a Prius? How does that work?
I don't know what the rules of the road are, but probably. I mean, I can't imagine. I probably would get pulled over for having a sheep before it not wearing a seatbelt, but
that's amazing. Paul, what would you think if you saw somebody with a sheep in their car?
It's a natural disaster, so I wouldn't say anything. I think the thing about I've been following this here in Connecticut, and sheep are the last things that you need to worry about when you're being attacked by a fireball. Just a fireball.
Yeah. I mean that's probably a good point, but the sheep do need protecting, so it's good that there are people hurting the sheep and making sure that they're comfortable during the fire situation. I will say this, Jake. A lot of people out there around the world, the way that news can sometimes be sensationalized, for lack of a better term, literally thought that everything was on fire in Los Angeles. And they couldn't tell what was real, what was not real. People thought the Hollywood sign was on fire. That was a big thing going on. People are they're like, oh my God, are you okay? I'm like, I see this picture, and I'm like, I don't. I'm pretty sure that's a scene from that movie with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Andreas.
San Andreas. A very accurate depiction of earthquakes.
Oh, absolutely. Just like Volcano was a fantastic depiction of how volcanoes work. Do you remember that Volcano and Dante's Peak came out back to back from each other? There were two volcano movies that came out.
I was never a big action movie person, but I remember a period of time where they were all coming out at once. Yeah.
It was there was the asteroid thing that Armageddon and Deep Impact came out at the exact same time.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of
I downloaded the wrong Deep Impact.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Can we say that on Twitch? Can we say that on Twitch? How does that work?
Well, it was the anime version. You made that dirty, not me.
Oh, okay.
That wasn't my fault.
Shout out to getting Annie to laugh. Annie, come and join us on the fun right here. Unless you're eating dinner. If you're eating dinner,
my food, Michael.
Of course you are. This is the only moment. The way she said that, by the way, is if it's rations, and she only has so much. She's like, this is the one time that I'm given food.
She hadn't eaten today. She is hungry.
She is sequestered away from society just to do this hybrid podcast comedy, stand-up comedy.
Why are you talking about yourself in the third person? But I love you, Annie.
I like
you
that,
could
Paul.
you could do anything or say anything. I'm just gonna point everything out. That's kind of what I do.
By the way, there's nothing more mysterious than M here in here with just a blank screen and just M. I feel very much like that's the way secret. You know, like when you see those spy thrillers, like whenever there's like an unknown caller, it's always like just like one letter, and then that person talks with like, you know, it's got that like where they do the altering of their voice type of a situation. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Do I watch way too much Amazon Prime? Is what I'm trying to get at.
It's the like where they are a person that they don't want to reveal their identity, and they're like, blah, 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 blah.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like he's
It's
in
kind of like when I didn't mean to talk over your set. It's kind of like when somebody gets kidnapped and they go through the voice distorter. Like when you're a kid, your parents gave you like one of the toy voices. It's like when you talk into a fan and you tried to sound like Darth Vader. You know what I mean. You know the good stuff.
Oh, and look at this. By the way, we now know that the identity of M is actually Marie.
You
also
gaslit that person into putting their whole name in there. Listen,
that's what I like to do, Paul. I like to shame people into showcasing their identity online.
I was perfectly happy with them being M.
You just bullied them into revealing their identity.
Well, Mia
you can't do that in 2024.
Mia's just happy that they said it's 2025, but you know.
No, I know. I do that to piss people off. I do that on purpose.
By the way, how long can you say Happy New Year till? Can you because at my girlfriend's place we still have the Christmas tree up, so I'm assuming you can still say Happy New Year as long as the Christmas tree's
Hey
up.
man, it's Lunar New Year. Like, it's okay.
Oh, that's right. There's
I mean,
a lot of different
Michael,
types of New Year's. Up until Rosh Hashanah, then, guys.
You're an adult, so you can do whatever you want. I'm not going to judge you because I have a ponytail. I mean, I was perfectly happy doing my 15 minutes, but this is great. I'm just going to take over your set.
This isn't my set, dude. I will be doing actual comedy later. This is the warm up to the show is what this is, Paul.
I will also be doing my stuff during your set. You didn't establish any boundaries. I need boundaries.
Yeah, we're very free flowing right over here. And shout out to Annie, who's finally finished her meal. We didn't shame you into eating so quickly.
Put it on pause.
Are you serious?
Still some more left. No.
If you were diabetic, that would be dangerous. Eat your food.
Luckily, I am not diabetic.
I am.
Oh my gosh.
I'm working on it. I've been working on my diabetes. I'm sure type 2 isn't that far away.
By the way, if you're in the Twitch room and you're wondering like who are these voices that are coming out of this box right here, there's a private Zoom room you can join, and you can join in on the fun. We just asked that if you join the private Zoom room, if you can turn on your microphones and your cameras or engage in the show in some way, it always helps out the show because, like I said, comedians feed off the energy. But it's not schizophrenia. This is not me doing the voices. It's not a one-person show. There's other people here right now. Andy, by the way, what is that to your? Is that a Superman, like a Russian doll Superman? Is that what that is right there?
Oh, it's better than just a Superman Russian doll. It's the entire Justice League
inside the Russian doll. Wow.
Look, we're falling apart, but we've got Batman.
Oh my God.
He's backwards.
Wonder Woman should have been on the beginning because it's 2025.
I know, right? And well, I mean, I guess I bought this like back in I don't even know, before COVID. I've had this forever.
Oh, life didn't exist before COVID.
I'm not gonna lie. Wow, Green Lantern. Oh boy, Ryan Reynolds themselves. Oh no, totally.
It's Ryan, by the way. But anyway,
we got the Flash. Look at
the Flash. I love it.
It's still going. We got Aquaman.
Wow.
That tracks.
Right.
This is actually
Before
this
he
is
has
actually
the hook for his hand.
This is actually the pitch that Annie is giving James Gunn for her Justice League film. This
And
is
then we
it
got
right
Martian Manhunter.
Wow, this is going all. I'm not gonna lie. This Russian doll setup right here. I believe if these were all dropped off in the Ukraine and Russia, there would be a ceasefire. I'm pretty sure that's how amazing this thing is right here.
I mean, everyone needs their superheroes.
Exactly. Everyone needs. Everyone.
I'm pretty
needs this.
sure it's gonna keep going, Mike. That's just a guess.
Way to bring the show down, Paul. I thought we were going to bring the world together and unite through one comedy show.
You're going to bring this world together in one comedy show? Michael.
This is stand-up comedy. Have you been to an open mic?
I tried to avoid them. I'd rather go to urgent care than go to an open mic.
You know what bothers me? Have you been to a McDonald's recently? They all look like urgent cares. Yeah. When I was a kid, they were happy, and they were yellow and red, and there was like a clown, and yeah, they're creepy, but at least he did magic tricks. And now they just look like mental health facilities from like, you know, the 80s, where people went in and then they didn't come back out.
You know what blows me away about that, Paul? I was actually just thinking about this the other day, is when I saw that like McDonald's is on Uber Eats. It's like, you have so many other choices now. Like, why? That's like a last resort type location. Like, why would you use Uber Eats for McDonald's? Like, use Uber Eats and get like that artisanal sandwich down the street that you wouldn't be able to get otherwise, or something like that. I don't know. Just thinking.
Like, your
maybe
privilege is showing because none of us have money for Uber Eats. I mean, if you really think about it, have fun paying $30 for a Big Mac. Enjoy that. Enjoy that. And now I feel bad about myself.
But that's what's insanity. That's the insanity about it. Like, the thing is, actually, this is actually happening to me the other day. I was with my girlfriend, and she was like, I just need to get some things. She's like, do you need anything from the grocery store? And I was like, yeah. And then she's like, okay, I'll just get them on Instacart. I'm like, it's across the street. It is across the street. The Albertsons grocery store is across the street. And she was going to Instacart with all their fees and everything like that, when you could literally walk across the street and get them faster and cheaper than you can by doing. By the way, I am not at her house right now. I'm at my house right now, which is why I can say these things right now.
Look at Michael with his big, I got a grocery store across the street energy.
You know what's really funny about that, Annie? There's two Ralph's grocery stores by my house, and one is across the street and the other one is on the other side of the street.
God, I live in East Oakland. The nearest grocery store is like 2 miles away.
And
that's okay because you have. Go ahead, Paul.
In the next 6 months, people are going to be selling eggs like they do crack in the 90s. They're going to have individually wrapped eggs in baggies. They're going to be like, I'm going to need $20 for this egg. I walked into the dollar store the other day. They wanted $7.50 for 12 eggs. And I'm like, I'm just going to get chickens because this is getting ridiculous.
Eggs are going to be all like cigarettes on the street. Yeah. Oh my God, you can buy them by the single egg.
Yeah.
So you know what? All you have to do is talk to Jake's partner, and see what chickens are available.
I mean,
shepherd it to your house.
Because sheep lay eggs, Mike. Get it
by
together.
the way, Annie, speaking of supply shortages, your cats behind you right now look like two people fighting on a Black Friday at a Walmart. That is what is taking place.
That's how they communicate.
Yep,
this is unbelievable.
They were
speaking
sleeping,
of the egg
and then one of them decided she wanted all the bed, and then that happened. And I guess the black one just decided she was done. It's over. Tribble, you won. Good job, Tribble.
Oh my God.
She was the one that wanted all the bed in the first place.
Unbelievable. That's what the world's going to be like. It's going to be us fending against each other for the small bed to lay on and get a moment of rest. Well, guys, like I said, I'm going to be back later on doing actual comedy. But until then, are you guys ready to get this show going? Come on. Let's get that energy going. Get it up. Again, if you want to join us in the Zoom room, go to kocomedy.com. You can get the link. Or if you ask on the Twitch stream, I believe Andy might be able to send it to you as well, too. Your first comic coming to the stage. Absolutely fantastic. We absolutely love him here. Let's give it up for the one and only Paul Kilmer, everybody!
Yeah.
All right. Let's get this party started. I will only be doing 4 minutes today because I did all of my time doing crowd work with Mike. Just off the cuff, I normally do magic tricks and comedy. I got to apologize. I've been trying to get new stuff. This is a humble brag. I've been on a lot of shows and I've been trying to learn new material. But I'm going to say this right off the cuff. I have autism, and I recently watched Donald Trump's inauguration party, and never in my life have I gotten excited and just saluted Hitler. Now, the reason I say that is I have autism, and bad autism, and I have never stimmed and saluted the Fuhrer before. And he blamed his autism, and I don't want people pinning all of us. I don't want people thinking that when we get excited, we just do a racism. Because if he gets excited and salutes Hitler, what other things does he do when he gets excited? Does he just punch down on minorities and women? Is he at the Cybertruck factory and he just drops the N-word? I'm not that. I'm not that. That's not fair. I grew up in the 80s and 90s and people called me the other word that ends with a hard R, and I don't appreciate him pinning us all together in his truck, stupid. A lot of people in Connecticut, it's a blue state, people drive around in their Cybertrucks. It's like what you would ask a kid in the 80s to draw a picture of a piece of shit. That's that car. And I have a neighbor who put a spoiler on his Cybertruck, and the only car that you should put a spoiler on is a 1995 Honda Civic. That's it. That's it. It can't go on a Cybertruck. You just sparkled a turd with another turd. That really made me angry. Oh, I had autism. Oh, okay. I've never saluted Hitler. I like to talk about dinosaurs. Maybe my voice gets loud. Maybe I'll clap. Maybe I'll rock back and forth. I've not punched down on trans people. I don't know what that is. And what did they do to people? I don't know. I don't know about life, but I'm not like that. So please, don't put me in there. I can't take any more back of the head punches. I'm just throwing that out there. That's why I grew out the ponytail. So I know the back of the head punches are coming. I grew up in the 90s. So I already did my bit about eggs, so that sucks. I live in an apartment complex, and there's a guy who walks his dog, but he doesn't pick up his poop, and I've been watching him every morning. And I was going to go out and say something to him, but recently I saw him pick up his dog poop, and he did the thing where you have dice, like you have moving a room around in your hand, and then he smelled it, and then that's something I didn't want to get involved in. That happened. That's crazy. I was trying to be my apartment complex version of Batman, but that's a type of crazy I don't want in my life. So he could just continue to play with his dog's poop. And what is he checking for? Consistency? I don't understand the world anymore. You know what I mean? What are you doing out there? His name is Greg. Anyway, I have a social security number. It's weird because the world is changing, but trying to go back to 1957. And look, I've seen Back to the Future, and that movie is awesome, but not now. Right now, it's not awesome. And I like Back to the Future, and that's what that joke was about. And thank you, Mike. Honestly, that wasn't really even a joke. Mike brought up his wife or girlfriend and made it her, and he made it her problem that about groceries, and I'm on Mike's girlfriend's side. I think that was wrong, and I think you need to call her up and apologize. Right now. I don't know what I'm doing. It doesn't look like I have a plan. And I can't turn on the news. I was voted most likely to die in a submarine next to the Titanic, and I dodged that bullet. So thank God. I was supposed to die at the bottom of the ocean. Me and my fiance recently watched the movie Titanic, and that old lady's the villain. She let one dude she met for a week draw her naked, and she let him die on a door. And she could have moved over. Listen, number one, no one's drawing me naked, even though I would appreciate it. Oh, hey, Paul, could I draw you naked? No, but no, I would think about it. I'm very pale, so when they draw me, it would be a blank canvas. I think drawing someone naked is the ultimate compliment, but then it would be funny if they drew you like a caricature at Six Flags. You're thinking you're going to get an oil painting, and now you get to see how big your chin really is. I understand. I'm on a new medication that I have trouble. If you might have noticed that my speech is slow, that's a side effect. So I apologize. Not a joke. Real life. I'm a stand-up comic, and I can't remember my own punchlines. You're gonna get a different joke every single time, and I'm blaming it on my meds. So I'm the villain. I'm the bad person in this. I never said I was a bad person, but you can't call me that because I have autism. Because you'll go to hell, because that exists. Could you imagine if you went to hell and you just got transported back to this time in history? You had to watch that asshole give the Heil Hitler for no reason. Oh, it's a Roman salute. It's the same thing. Hitler stole it from the Romans. Boom. I just autismed you. How do you feel? Was it good for you? Because I'm going to keep doing it. Me and my fiance, we just celebrated 20 years together.
Hey!
I know. She hates it. We've gotten to the point where we've been dating each other so long that we can't be in a functional relationship with anybody else because they couldn't handle my level of craziness. Recently, she sat me down and said, "Hey, Paul, you left the burners to the stove on last night. You could have burned down the apartment." And my response to that was, no eye contact whatsoever. a flat affect, and I said, hey, if anything happened to me, who's going to talk to you about cheetahs? Who's going to give you all those sweet animal facts? No, Paul, this is serious. You can't leave the burners on. Yeah, burners, but what about these dinosaurs, yo? I know about the kids. I know about the kids and what they watch. I know about the bussy, and I know about I know about clowns, and I know about a bunch of stuff that I probably shouldn't say as a 41-year-old white person, but I'm going to. And you're going to love me. Because I'm adorable. I don't know what I'm doing. And another thing, going back to what Mike was saying is, don't ever talk to me before a show. I will take over your Zoom. I've been doing KO comedy for 3 years. 3 years KO comedy. 3 years I've been here. I've always shown up. I've always put in 110% during KO comedy. And they know not to ask me any questions at all, because I will start my set in the beginning, in the middle, or the end. And I don't mean it, but I totally mean it. My friends invite me over to their house to do magic tricks for free, even though they know I charge. Oh, hey, Paul, we're having a Super Bowl party. Why don't you bring your balloon bag and your magic tricks and perform for my kids? And then I show up with nothing, and I eat all their food. And then I eat the food in their cabinet that's not for the party. And then I line my pockets with Ziploc bags. And then I go into their freezer. No one's going to tell me what to do. I'll steal your toilet paper and replace it with inferior toilet paper. That's the one thing I do splurge on, because there's nothing like wiping your butt and your finger pokes through. We've all been there. You're not going to say it hasn't happened. That's why I'm a wet wipe dude. That's what it says on my Facebook. Paul, gender, wet wipe dude. Yeah, so me and my fiance, we've been together for 20 years, and she was like, hey, you know we missed online dating. What would your profile be? And I looked at her, again, blank stare, like doll's eyes, like demon eyes. I looked at her in her soul, and I said, Paul Kilmer likes dinosaurs. And then she said, what else? And I said, if you can't handle me at dinosaurs, you can't handle me at the Olive Garden. It's all dinosaurs. That's all I want to talk about. That's it. That's all I like to think about. So if that Tinder date or that Grindr, I don't know what the kids are on. They all sound like construction companies. Tinder, Grindr, Barrel of Fish. I don't know. Bumble? Christian Mingle? I don't know what people do now. AmishFinder.com? That's a thing. I swear to God, Google it, Mike. You and your partner, you and your wife, Google dating sites. You do it, and then I want proof. I want you to videotape it. Anyway, I think I'm well over my time. How are we doing, Annie?
You still got a minute and a half if you want it.
Did you eat?
I did.
Okay, because listen, the last thing I want for you to be is hungry.
I am good. I have satiated my hunger.
I don't believe you. Listen, listen. What I'm going to do is like when I was growing up, my grandfather, my step-grandfather was Italian, and he always told me, if you're hungry, eat more. That's it. That's advice I live by. If you're hungry and you can't eat anymore, just eat more food. Eat your feelings. Internalize your emotions. We're all going to die one day, and everything you own is borrowed. Pasta's awesome. And I'll leave you on that. Just remember, we're all going to die.
Paul Kilmer, everybody. We're all going to die. One more time for the one and only Paul Kilmer. Make sure you're checking him out at a Cumberland Farms near you. He will be outside. He will have the merchandise ready to go because he's industrious like that. Honestly, Paul, what shows you got going on? I know you got the online show coming up, Sunday?
To be fair to the other comedians on the show, I'm going to end it right now. I'm going to leave my mic on, but please don't ask me any more questions. You can find me on the dark web. Please stop asking me questions because the other awesome comedians deserve time to shine. I keep telling you, I'm gonna take it over, and you keep asking me questions. Stop it.
Okay. All right. On that note, guys, we're going to be moving on. We just got a couple more comics left for you guys to go. But before we do that, we're going to head it back to Annie because she has just finished her food, and we're going to check in on the board, guys, on the donation board. So Annie, have at it.
Right. I did finish my food, you guys. I finished a wonderful giant baked potato with chili all over it. The cat's licking the bowl right now. All right. Yes, big shout out, you guys. Whenever you donate, we like to give you a shout out because that's just how we do it here. So you guys give it up for William. Wait, I don't even have the right. Here we go. All right. William Reynolds dropping $15 on the board. William, thank you so much. I usually put William's name on a bong. And because Paul was here and Paul does magic, I typed in magic bong. And this is what showed up. So here we go. It's a magic bong. Thank you so much, William. And you guys, the night is far from over. If you do want to donate, you can. We can still get your name on the board. It's not too late. We take Venmo at KO-Comedy. We also take PayPal, KOComedyShows@gmail.com. And if you're watching over on Twitch, we take those bits as well. And Twitch, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Shout out to everybody over there. Jethro Bodine, great to see you. Sarah Green, always a pleasure. Seb, the Skull Kid, it's great having you here. Everybody else, also world's worst AI comedian, Laughing Larry, is hanging out in the chat. If you guys want to come be a part of the Zoom room, you're all welcome to. All you have to do is go to kocomedy.com, sign up for the email. You'll receive all of the links to all of our Zoom rooms, including this one. And sometimes we have Zoom exclusives. For instance, when Twitch and YouTube are over, when the lights go down, we're going to keep the party popping over here. You guys, that's Sarah Green. It's in the Twitch chat right now, but she's going to be hosting the after party. Let's go. Let's go. We're going to play some games. We're going to hang out. It's always a good time. Definitely come hang out with us. It's going to be great. You guys, we also have some fun shows coming up this week. That's right. Sunday, Alicia Rain and friends are having a Zoom comedy showcase at 5 p.m. Pacific. On Monday, Sammy Obeid is back with Sammy Cuts the Hours Budget, and our regularly programmed show on Sunday with Casey McNeil is going down at 7 p.m. Pacific. Come hang out with us. It's always a good time. That's the wrong button. That's the right button. So yeah, everybody's always welcome. Come hang out with us. That's enough of me. We're going to go back to your host. And don't forget to give him a follow. It's really easy over on Instagram at Michael Magid. You guys, give it up for Michael Magid.
Oh my gosh, guys!
Michael
One more time
Magic.
for
There we
Annie
go.
and the board and the donation board. Again, guys, you can keep donating throughout the entire show or even after the show. No one says it's got to be now. You can do it. You can do it later after you've given Paul, what you've got at Cumberland Farms, whatever you have left. You can donate it to KO Comedy. With that being said, guys, you guys ready for your next comic? Come on, let's get that energy going. Get that energy up. Guys, your next comic coming on the stage. They are absolutely fantastic. They are currently based in Los Angeles and currently helping their partner with the evacuation and sheltering of animals, all the way from sheep to goats to, I'm assuming, cats to parrots to iguanas. I believe that they're all there. You can follow them at Jakers Knoll on IG. Let's give it up for the one and only Jake Knoll, everybody. Jake!
Woo!
Woo!
Hey, what's up? Is my video on? There we go. All right. What's up? I am Jake. Thank you so much, Michael. I wish that my partner were sheltering iguanas. That would be a whole other deal. Paul, I cannot believe you banned me from asking questions right before my set. I have one question for you because I'm from Storrs, Connecticut, and I just want to know where in Connecticut you are, because you're the first person outside of Connecticut who accurately represents Connecticut, because people think it's all something different.
I'm from a place called Plainville, and I would say please don't ask me questions because I will take over your set by accident.
That's the only question I'm going to ask. Thank you for answering that. I'm from Storrs.
Thank God.
No more questions. I like my
Thank
time.
you.
Yeah, I most recently lived in Chicago though for about 13 years. So I've been from all over the place. Now LA, I'm just trying to get in all the sanctuary cities before they're taken away. I am trans, but I have been considering detransitioning, going back to a lesbian, because not to like agree with anything that's going on right now. I just think that lesbians are very useful people. They're very like, they get stuff done, you know, and I think that the time calls for getting stuff done. Trans guys, we're great, we're fun, we're very helpful, but we're not really useful. And I think, you know, like lesbians built the Hoover Dam. They didn't, but you believe me, right? Like they get things done. And I know, because I used to be like, when I initially came out as a lesbian, and I could not figure out how to tell like who the other lesbians were, like how to tell who I could date, who I could like ask out. And we don't all look like, you know, we can't all look like this. But the one thing that I figured out is lesbians and straight men are the only two kinds of people who will like casually test the sturdiness of things. You know, like if you're hanging out and there's a table next to the lesbian, she's just gonna kind of like, you know, it's straight guys too. They'll stand in a door frame and just test it out. That feels good. You know, and it could be the femmiest of femme lesbians. She's still gonna knock on that car and be like, solid. I think it's wild that there's any debate over trans women playing sports. And I don't like to give it this topic much airtime, because it is absolutely just a non-issue. Like there's not that many trans women in sports, and they're by no means dominating the field. But it's wild because I, as like a trans guy, I'm not on testosterone anymore. I went off it because I started to lose hair, and it turns out I'm more vain than I am transgender. I don't think anyone the fact that testosterone makes you physically stronger. Like when I was on T, I turned into a literal forklift. Like I could suddenly get all my groceries from the car at once. It was so handy. Like I told my mom, who was like a 1970s feminist, who was like, women can do everything men can do. And she started making my 70-year-old father carry heavy things. And I was like, this is not the time to become a housewife. Like you had equity in your relationship until now, and she found out testosterone makes you stronger, and she's making my dad do everything. I'm like, not now. But I will say that having gone off of testosterone, the effects of strength disappeared within a year, just gone, like completely. I mean, I think women are strong in other ways, but the physical strength was gone. And so trans women who play sports are required to have certain hormone profiles that match that of like an average cis woman, which we're finding out is not, there's no real average anyway. But so the muscles are a non-issue. And the only viable thing that people say sticks around post-transition would be larger bones. To which I have to say, if you ban big-boned women from sports, you're going to have no athletes. Big-boned women are the only athletes that I want to watch play. I don't want to watch any bird-boned women out there on the soccer field getting their tibias and fibias snapped. I want to watch big-boned women play sports. I'm sorry. So people who are trying to ban trans women from sports clearly don't care about watching women's sports because it's no fun. Yeah, exactly. And like, and then even the bones isn't necessarily true. And they're finding that a lot of times due to the loss of muscle mass, that trans women might even have a disadvantage due to having lost the muscle that was initially developed in puberty to control that larger bones. So whatever, the research isn't there. It's a non-issue. And anyway, I don't want to see little boned women because I'll tell you what, I used to play soccer. I'm a little boned person and I got trampled all over the place, and that's not fun to watch for anyone except my uncles. I'm turning 10 years sober this year, and don't clap, it's court ordered. It's a weird time to be sober. I don't know. It's definitely the first time where I was like, ooh, is this a choice that I want to continue with given the current world? It is because I know that for me, I was a blackout drinker, and I found that out because I started checking my computer history in the morning. And it turned out that once a week around 4 a.m., I would try to enlist in the military.
Ooh.
Which I never successfully joined. And that leads me to think that they have a closing time on the website. They were like, no one good ever enlisted after 2 a.m. Shut it. We don't want you anymore. But it does, being sober is like, it's an odd experience because especially in the U.S., alcohol is like a sign of adulthood. So I find myself feeling like a child in a lot of situations. For example, I went to this like really cool after party one time that was at a recreation of like a 1920s speakeasy. And it was cool, except I went up to the bar and I was like, what do you have that's non-alcoholic? And the bartender was like, well, see, anything that was around before 1923. And I was like, what? Now it's like a riddle. I have to figure out what non-alcoholic drinks existed before 1923. And the only thing I could think of was milk. So here I am at this chic after party drinking milk with everybody else. But it is a better experience than being blackout drunk. I will say also being sober, I now have to deal with myself as a human being. Like I can't just be like, I was drunk and I did that. Which one of the biggest things I had to deal with at first was like anger. And I started to realize that like I needed to work on my anger because people who get uncontrollably angry just look silly. And I realized this because I used to ride a bike when I lived in Chicago, and I would get like a lot of road rage. And riding a bike in Chicago is cool. It's not like if you ride a bike in Los Angeles, you kind of look like a little condom on wheels, but in Chicago, you look like Danny Zuko. Like you look cool. And every time I would bike downtown, there would always be some Lexus or Lexi or Lexis. Like the fanciest cars are the worst drivers. And I would always get into a fight with those cars. And one day I was biking to work and this Lexus cut me off and I started banging on the window. I was like, screw you, the man. And when I got into work, my boss walked up to me and he goes, someone was aggressive this morning.
Oh, no.
I was like, oh, God. A little more namaste into my commute. Oh, God. So I started working on my anger at that point, but it was still hard to deal with. And it wasn't until this other interaction that I had with yet another Lexus, completely different Lexus. I was biking home from work and I saw this Lexus weaving in and out of the bike lane Like he just got done with happy hour and was drunkenly on his way home to take the TV away from the kids. And I knew that I was going to have to pass him, and I could feel my anger rising. And I was like, this stupid idiot is taking up the whole street. I'm going to have to show him what's what by banging on his window. So I started to bike past him, and I banged on his window. And then this guy did something I've never seen in real life. He hits the gas and then hits the brake so hard that he like Tokyo drifted down the street sideways. It was at that point I wasn't mad anymore. I was like, this just is cool. Like whatever I'm on. It is so cool. And at that I was like, I don't know what he's gonna do next. This guy is clearly like a stunt driver, and like smoke was coming off his wheels, and he starts to roll down the window, and I was like, oh, I'm about to see like Jackie Chan or like at least Chris Tucker, or I'm about to see somebody very cool right now. And he gets the window down, and instead it's just this red-faced white dude, and he goes, oh, I ought to clean your clock. You just did all that, and now that's what you said? Like you had the best build-up in the world, and you let your anger get the best of you and said, I ought to clean your clock? I ought to buy you a milkshake, sir. Like no one's heard that insult since the 1950s. Like this guy just, and then in that moment I realized I was like, ooh, when I get angry, I'm closer to looking like that red-faced white dude than any of these action stars who keep their chill in situations. I was like, I gotta work on my anger. The first thing that I did to do that was start to think about like, what are situations that I get angry in? And the first thing that came to mind is like, ooh, when people tell me how to do things that I already know how to do. You know what I mean? Like when you go to the restaurant and you order guacamole and it comes out and it's got a chip already in it. Mm-hmm. I know how to eat that guacamole. Don't tell me how to eat it. You dip it, you eat it, you tell everybody that you've got a better recipe at home. But then I was thinking about it. I was like, hey, Jake, maybe that chip isn't even about you. Maybe that chip is there because at some point somebody didn't know how to eat guacamole. Right? Like it might be like whenever guacamole was introduced to white people in the United States, which was probably like the 1980s or whatever, who knows, the hippest lady in the neighborhood at that time, probably Kathy or somebody, goes down to her local bistro, orders the guacamole, comes out, and she just face planted into it. Oh no, Kathy, better put a chip in that. Kathy chip, not the Jake chip. And that's how I started to work on anger. I have a partner, and we very like intentionally and undramatically got into our relationship and like talked our way through it, which is very unfortunately the way you get into relationships when you're not drinking and blackout hooking up with people. But we got into our relationship very intentionally, and at the beginning we talked about like what are some things that we would like to learn in this relationship that we haven't necessarily developed in past connections. And one of the things that I wanted to learn was trust and how to be more trusting. And they said to me, why don't you think that you could trust? And I was like, well, historically, I think I've been so gullible that I just sort of stopped trusting altogether in order to protect myself. And they were like, do you think that maybe our society devalues trust so much that they've labeled it as gullibility? I was like, I'd believe it. I don't know the answer to that, but I do know that one time I was so gullible, I fell for the dollar on a fishing line trick, that cartoon trick that you only see on Saturday mornings, where some prankster has $1 on the end of a fishing pole and drags it down the street, and then some idiot chases after it. I was that idiot. Well, I used to live in a sports neighborhood when I lived in Chicago, which was my fault for living in a sports neighborhood. But one day I saw $1 on the ground and I was like, my lucky day. So I went for it. And then the dollar moved and I was like, oh my. So I went after it. And then the dollar moved again and I was like, Windy City, huh? So I kept going. And then the dollar began to move very quickly. So I started to run and I was like, my money. And then I heard a laugh above me. And I looked up and there was a Cubs fan on a rooftop with a fishing pole dragging the dollar bill down the street. I was so embarrassed that I immediately ran into a brick wall painted like a tunnel to get out of there. I was like, I just felt so stupid. But I've been able to work on a lot. One thing that still plagues me is financial insecurity, which I think plagues the most of the country at this point. I realized the other day, I had a moment of pride where I realized that I make almost as much as Shirley Temple made when she was 6 years old. She made $1,000 a week in 1923, and I make almost that, and I was very excited. And then I looked it up, and the next year she started to make $2,500 a year, or a week, which I was like, oh, okay, we'll never get to Shirley Temple levels, but we can try. My entire life, I'm an older millennial, so my entire life, my retirement plan has been the apocalypse. It's
Same.
coming to fruition. Which is good, because I didn't want to be an old person in the apocalypse. It's not. I've seen Waterworld, overturned bucket, or provide the comedic relief, which might be my path anyway. But I realized that it was the apocalypse was not coming fast enough, and so I made a big career move recently, and I moved up from host at the restaurant that I work at to server. Thank you very much. Career move at the age of 37, and I had never been. I was like late to becoming a server, and so I needed some help figuring it out. And my partner, they're genuinely a shepherd, but also, believe it or not, shepherding doesn't pay very much, and so they also work at a restaurant. But they work at a fine dining restaurant, and so they were trying to assist me with learning how to be a server, but the advice they were giving me didn't necessarily apply to the diner that I work at. So, for example, they taught me the word terroir, which means that you could taste the land that the food came from, which if I use that word at my diner, I'll have to say, these eggs have terroir of Van Nuys in the valley, or this chicken tastes like downtown. So not exactly the most useful word for me, but getting there. This is neither here nor there, but does everyone know what an apricot is?
Yeah.
An apricot, right?
Mm-hmm.
An apricot. We know what an apricot is.
Yep.
Well, I was at the grocery store and I was buying a bag of apricots because I love apricots. And I got to check out and the cashier goes, what are these? And I was like, apricots. And before I could finish, she goes, peaches.
What? Oh my gosh.
Apricots. And she was like, peaches. I was like, I'm not arguing with you. They're apricots. And she goes, you asked me and I told you those are apricots. And she goes, peaches. And I was like, ooh. I was like, check yourself, Jake. Maybe you're privileged to know what apricots are. And I was like, these are apricots. And she goes, peaches. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, I understand that they look like small peaches, but they are actually a different fruit. They're called apricots. And then her coworker comes up and he goes, oh, peaches. I was like, both of you? How do both of you think that those are? I was like, those are, and then he goes, peaches. And I was like, apricots. And she goes, peaches. And I was like, apricots. And she goes, peaches. And he goes, peaches. And I go, apricots. And she goes, peaches. He goes, peaches. And I go, apricots. Peaches, peaches, apricots, peaches, peaches, apricots. And then she starts to type peaches into the system and they come up. And do you guys know that peaches are not a thing, but peaches are, and they're cheaper than apricots. So that was yet another lesson to me to keep my cool and not argue about things because I got discounted apricots. Gotta check out the routes.
Oh, One more time for Jake Knoll, everybody. One more time for Jake.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, Jake. I was actually just literally thinking about when you were saying the apricots thing, whatsoever. Is that I have actually been at Ralph's, which is a grocery store out here in the Los Angeles area. For those of you guys who aren't familiar, and if you're in other parts of the country, they're Kroger brands. And I've literally said, "Hey, do you know where the blah 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 is?" And they go, "What is that?" And I'm like, you work at a grocery store and you don't know the inventory. And I'm not like asking for like bizarre things. I was like, where do you know where the kiwis are? Like, what is that? Like, so it's a fruit thing. I think people are just not as familiar with the fresh produce if they're working in the cosmetic area of the Ralph's grocery store. But so maybe your checkout person, maybe they were used to being in electronics. But there's no electronics at a Ralph's. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know why they wouldn't know what an apricot is, but you're right. I mean, if they're going to give you a discount, that's great. This is an informative podcast, guys. It's a learning, it's educational. It's all about growing as a person. We learn a lot of things here. Just one more comic left to go, but before we do, guys, we're going to go to the board. Go to the board.
Let's do it. Here we go. Board has been activated. Yes, you guys, it is board time. Let's make it happen. We did have another, I see another one coming in, so I'll tell you all about this fresh one right after our last comedian. But first, you guys, give it up for Mia Kim dropping $10 on the board. Now, Mia, I went ahead. I typed in Mia Ha under images. This is what came up. This is a bowl of soup. I don't know what's so funny about that, but you know what? I'm going with it. Mia Ha brought up a bowl of soup. So you guys, big shout out to Mia Kim. Mia, we appreciate it so much. Thank you so much for supporting KO. And we do have one more amazing comedian. If you want to get your name on the board, you can. I've got another donation coming in, so I will tell you about that after our last comedian. But if you want to get your name up there, it's pretty easy, you guys. We take Venmo at KO-comedy. We also take PayPal, KOComedyShows@gmail.com. And if you're watching over on Twitch, you guys, we take those bits as well. And all right, you guys. Oh, and Twitch, don't forget, we got one more awesome comedian for you, but when they're done, Twitch and YouTube, they're shutting down for the night. The after party will roll on, though. You can find the link over by signing up for the email over at KOComedy.com. You'll get the links for all the rest of our shows. We have some great shows coming up this week. Like I said, after this show is over, we've got the after party with Sarah Green going down. We've got Sunday, a special with Alicia Rain. Monday, a special with Sammy Obeid. And then our regularly programmed show on Sunday with Casey McNeil. You guys, we always have awesome stuff going on here. So check it out. All right, you guys, don't forget to follow your host tonight over on Instagram at Michael Magid. You guys, give it up for Michael Magid. Let's go.
Oh my gosh, guys, one more time for Annie and Jake Knoll and Paul Kilmer and the one and only M, also known as Marie, joining us in here. And of course, everyone's favorite Zoom guest, iPhone. So shout out to iPhone. I think it's just the original model, the 2007 iPhone that is joining us right now. It's a classic. It's fantastic. It's probably the same thing as like when you see those old smart TVs where it's like all that they can do is Netflix. It's just Netflix and the smart. You're like, well, I want Disney Plus. They're like, we can't do that. Like, what about Paramount? I just got Netflix. I'm like, what? How is this? What if I don't have a Netflix subscription? You're just a television, basically. That's what's going on there. I have something set up next week. I have a haircut. Have you guys ever gotten a haircut before? I like to be relatable to the audience right here. I'm assuming most of you have had haircuts before. I don't know about you, Jake, but whenever I go in to get a haircut, I like to present a visual aid to them to show them what I want to look like when I leave. So I handed this woman a picture, and I said, hey, can you make me look like this? And she looked at it, looked right back at me, and went, absolutely not. Now, the worst part about that is that was an old headshot of mine. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm sorry, but you are aware that this is a picture of me, right? And she went, oh, yeah, no, I can tell. It's just, you've lost a lot of hair since you take that picture, so I can't make that happen. You physically don't have the ability to look like this ever again. I'm not a sorceress of any type. Can't make that happen. My favorite thing about that, though, is when you start recognizing that you're losing a little bit of hair, as you stop using the testosterone. That's what you do. No, that's just some people that go that direction with it. What you know, people always say this, Jake, though, right? If you start losing your hair, so I bet if you started losing your hair, they'd say, "Oh, just shave your head. Just shave your head, right? You know, just shave your head." And they always use examples like, "Come on, works for Jason Statham." And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not exactly Jason Statham, okay? Like I don't look good with a shaved head, okay? First off, I know this because I shaved my head in high school for basketball. And I didn't know it at the time, but I have giant moles all over my head. Giant raised moles, right? Like it's not a good look at whatsoever. Like you can literally play connect the dots on my head. Like you can do some sort of artistic representation on my head. I'm a canvas, guys. That's what I am. I'm a canvas. But the thing is that like I have a tiny head, which makes it difficult to shave your head when you have a tiny head. Another thing too is as you start losing your hair, people will say, "Oh, you can start wearing a hat." Well, when you have a head the size of a Cocker Spaniel, it's very difficult to find a hat that fits. And my family knows this about me, right? Like they know this, and they want to help me out. So I actually visited my dad during the fires. I was out there when we were evacuated. And he woke me up and he's like, "I know it's been a really tough time for you the last week or so, but you know, I was at the store and I finally found a hat that's perfect for you." And he handed it to me, right, Jake? And it had Disney characters all over it. And I'm like, "Dad, is this a children's hat?" And he goes, "No. No, come on, Michael. I would never embarrass you like that. It's for dogs." And that's how I found out that my head is the size of a Cocker Spaniel's head. That's how I found that out from that situation right over there. I was talking about my girlfriend earlier. Jake, I don't know if you have this with your partner, but my girlfriend buys me expensive clothes all the time. Like all the time. It's very, very nice of her. Very, very nice of her. Here's the problem. I run online comedy shows on Friday nights. I don't have anywhere to wear these very expensive clothes. She literally gets me all these clothes and I can't use them. It's insanity to me. I'm like, basically, my girlfriend pays into my wardrobe the way I pay into, like, you know, like renter's insurance. Like, I'm never going to use this, right? But at the off chance that a horrible tragedy happens, I'm going to need these clothes to wear to that funeral. That's essentially the only time I'm ever going to wear these clothes whatsoever. It's crazy. And it's very sweet of her. It's very sweet of her that she does that. She also recently, for the holidays, she bought me a Nintendo Switch, which is a really cool gift. Very cool gift. And I really got into 2K, NBA 2K on it. And my favorite thing about it is that you can face scan yourself into the game. So which is kind of cool that you can face scan yourself into the game until you scan your face and then you see the AI representation of your face. Because then you start wondering, is that what the fuck I look like? And you start going like, no, I'd rather just make my own avatar and make myself much more attractive. That's what I'd like to do. That's not what I look like. I'm literally looking at there's no way. Because here's the thing, Jake. Like, I don't know who created the AI code for 2K, but like, they made me look like the worst, like 1940s caricature representations of like Ashkenazic Jewish people, like in propaganda films. Like, that's literally what I look like in this game. You know, I'm like, I don't know if Tesla's an investor in 2K. I don't know how this works exactly. But that's what they made me look like. So she sees me playing the game, right? And she goes, "You don't seem to be doing very well." I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, the players literally won't pass me the ball. They'll like say things like, "Hey, stay on Lillard." Like I'm not fast enough to keep up with Damian Lillard. So I'm like, she's like, "Well, did you actually make yourself representative of how you would be in the NBA?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not a fucking cheater. I'm going to make myself a 5'8", 156 pounds with a 47 speed." Got to keep the realism going. She's like, "Yeah, why don't you just play the fantasy?" I'm like, "I don't do things that way. I got to keep it authentic. You got to keep it." So I'm not doing well in 2K, guys, because of that. Because I'm playing people who are like 7'4", 265 with like a 99 speed, and I'm like, that person's not real. Unless they're Victor Wembanyama, they're not real. It's not a real person. It's a good reference right there. Let's see here. Here's a fun thing that's been going on lately. Hey, Bill, how are you? That wasn't terrifying in any way whatsoever.
Sorry.
You literally popped up like those TikTok videos that I get sent about people. You literally look right now like one of those videos where they're about to tell you how The Simpsons predicted this.
Saying I look like Homer?
No, I'm saying you look like one of those conspiracy theorists. It's like The Simpsons predicted this. It's all. I don't think you recognize the fact. Have you heard of Project Bluebeam, Bill? Let me tell you all about it in my 15-minute YouTube video that my cousin thinks is the news. Why don't we go with that? But I don't know, Jake. I don't know if you have this. I don't have family relatives here. If you have relatives that do this, they send you YouTube links like that's the actual news. It's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. I'm like, that's my neighbor in 321. That's what that is. That's not. If they have a ring light, it's not the news. Just want to let you know that. Want to let you know that's how that goes. So anyway, I was with my girlfriend, and so like I said, I was trying to do this whole thing where I'm trying to improve our clean eating after the holidays, and I'm like, well, instead of having junk food, I'm having substitutes for that junk food. She's like, I just can't give up chips. I'm like, well, these are chips. She's like, no, those are in the shape of chips. Like, you're not gonna fool. What do you think I am, a dog? Where you're like, oh, you'll shape it like bacon, so I'll think it's bacon. Like, it doesn't work that way. Or like Three Dog Bakery, it's like, it's not a cupcake. It looks like a cupcake, but that's not a cupcake. It's not a cupcake. So I was trying to get her off her chip addiction, and me off my sugar addiction. And she says she doesn't want to be. She told me, well, I need, I need something, to keep my energy going before I go to bed. I'm like, no, that's the opposite of what going to bed is. Going to bed is literally removing your energy so you fall into a hibernation state and fast until you wake up, which is why they call it break fast. Like, it's literally... and I'm sure Bill's got a 20-minute YouTube video on the conspiracy of breakfast that was started by the Kellogg's company in the 1910s. I believe that's the case. That's the case with that. What else did I want to talk about with you guys here? This is something that's interesting right over here. My sister has a young child, my nephew, who's now getting into basketball, and which is kind of cool. So here's a fun thing: is I think it's great that I told him hey it's just fun that he's out there exploring, and trying things out and everything like that. And my sister says, yeah, that's all fine and good, but like, I want my son to be good at stuff. And I'm like, maybe you should just take the child away from you right now. Maybe that's before he ends up in therapy at 16 years old, because his mom doesn't believe he's good at anything. He got mad because he shot at the wrong basket. I'm like, I'm sorry, there's a kid out there who doesn't take his hands out of his pockets. So like, I think he's doing fine. I think he's doing fine. Also, what kind of monster is making 6-year-olds play full court basketball? Like, what failed collegiate athlete who's now teaching physical education at the elementary school is forcing children to play full court basketball? It's insanity. You should be playing half court basketball is all I'm saying. Much like I do on 2K, guys. Because they don't pass me the ball, so I only play on one side of the court. That's how that works out. All right. Here's a fun thing. My mom was telling me recently that she was going to get a gift from my nephew Hunter. And she went, Michael, it's not as easy nowadays, like when I was, when you were Hunter's age, I would just go to Toys R Us and they would have everything that I need. And I'm like, Toys R Us? She's like, yes, Michael, they don't. Toys R Us no longer is. They went bankrupt at the Toys R Us. I'm like, Mom, did you mean Toys R Us? She says, yes, Michael, Toys R Us. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm not going to shame you for this accent thing that's going on right here, but you literally made it sound like you used to go to a store that sold toys and the letter R. Like, you made it sound like you used to take me to somewhere that was an interstitial on a Sesame Street episode. Like, that's where it sounded like you bought toys. You bought toys for me. I can be a little bit of a hypochondriac. I don't know if anybody else here can be a hypochondriac, considering it is a Zoom show on a Friday night. I'm sure there are some hypochondriacs here as we speak. But I had a situation where I was freaking out because there was this weird discoloration on my arm. So I went to the doctor to get it looked at, and they said, "Oh, I know exactly what this is." And I'm like, "Oh my God, is it serious?" I said, "That's ink." I said, "What's ink? Is that like some disease?" They're like, "No, it's like probably from like a Sharpie, permanent marker of some sort. Like, maybe just be careful when you're doing arts and crafts." I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. I thought it was like a blood clot. Thought it was like a blood clot. Turns out a week later it was a blood clot. That's when I left the HMO. Now I'm in with a PPO, guys. Got that PPO money. It's called subsidized health care in the state of California. That's what it is. For another few months until they take it away. Not too soon? Okay. That's fun. All right. I'll do a couple more things and then we'll head out of here. I want to talk about this with you guys here. Yeah, sure. During the holidays, I spent it with my mom, and whenever she got a gift, she would go, Michael, film, Michael, take a video. I'm like, what do you want me to take a video of you, Mom? She's like, Michael, I want you to take a video of me opening the gifts. I'm like, Mom, who is this for? Your TikTok following? Are you doing like unboxing videos? She's like, oh no, Michael, these are for all our family back in Venezuela. I'm like, what, Mom? To show them the things that they can't afford because of the horrible economic depression that they have there. Maybe don't do that, Mom. Maybe maybe don't do that. That's a weird way to end this. But considering that the Trump administration is going to be meeting with Maduro, chances are they're going to be best friends now and our trade partner, since everybody else will have 25% tariffs. Enjoy your maple syrup, guys, today until tomorrow when it's $17. For that log cabin maple syrup. All right, guys, you can find me at Michael Magid on all social medias, except for Blue Sky, because you have to put that weird blue sky thing at the end. But it's at Michael Magid until the blue sky thing. One more time for Annie, guys. Thanks a lot for coming out.
Woo!
Do have one more donation, Michael.
Woo!
Let's see. Let me get it up here. Here we go. Buttons are hard, kids. Buttons are hard. Especially when you've had a really long week. But it's the end of the week. Let's go. That's right, you guys. Give it up for Abigail Hydrangea Brown dropping $5 on the board. That's right, Abigail. I found a teeny tiny frog on top of a great big hydrangea. That is the board for the month, you guys. Thank you so much to everyone that supported KO this month. We appreciate it. It'll be an all new board next week. And you guys, don't forget, even though this show is ending, Twitch, YouTube, definitely go to KOComedy.com. Sign up for that email because, you guys, it's almost time for the after party. It is going down right here with Sarah Green. We're going to play some games, you guys. Our regular show comes back on Sunday, 7 p.m. with Casey McNeil. And we got a couple of specials coming up. That's right. Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific, we've got Alicia Rain and Friends. And on Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific, Sammy Cuts the Hours Budget. It is going down, you guys. So, yeah, that's it. You guys, give it up for your host again. Don't forget to follow him at Michael Magid. I'll let him say goodbye one more time. You guys, it's time for Michael Magid.
Have a great time, guys. Enjoy yourselves. Be safe out there. And don't forget, buy all your maple syrup and avocados tonight before they're 25% more expensive. We'll see you later.